retrograde special from your favorite Gemini, and Gemini is ruled by Mercury. And not only that, my Mercury is in Gemini, so I get extra spicy at this time of during retrogrades. Pardon the chaos, as you know, I am moving. There's just no place really in here that doesn't look like some kind of. It's a hot mess. Like really, unless I like. No, even then, even if I tried to like I could probably film in the powder room down here in the bathroom. That's probably the like most because I emptied it out, so it's literally like toilet paper, a hand towel, and dish soap. So or hand soap. So it's a little chaotic right now. So I apologize for the lack of usual ambiance and whatnot. But today I've been thinking about this a little bit. Sometimes I like to do segments and talk about being a witchy business owner and stuff like that. So this is your next segment of that. So I'm feeling a little extra spicy from the jerkery haterade tonight. I joke, but anyways. But one of the things I kind of put a bullet point of things I wanted to talk about because these are things that kind of come up from different platforms, from different customers and things like that. And I just wanted to point out one thing. If you're using platforms like Amazon, eBay, Etsy, these are basically like convenience store platforms. Now, some people only use, and you've heard me go on at length about Etsy and their policies. So some people only have those. I mean, when I started out, I mostly only had my Etsy store. So they do have their place. And I know that more and more sellers are trying to pull away from these platforms. Like I had just gotten an order today from one of my bulk herbal suppliers overseas in Europe. And, with a little, like as you've noticed, I've been sending, I don't have any handy, the little flyers I've been sending in recent orders, encouraging people to shop on our website, that it's like going to be, you're more prioritized, you get better deals and perks and coupon codes and stuff like that. I'm starting to see more and more sellers I used to buy from on Etsy doing that stuff. So, and I've gotten that today and noticed a little like Etsy 10 code on there to get extra off, as opposed to ordering it on Etsy. So what you're starting to see now, because these platforms have we could charge so much less for our products if they didn't siphon out so much in fees. Like for me to sell something, I could probably sell a bag of salts. I don't know what this one has a lot of stuff in it, but say if I sold this if the wholesale cost, which is broken down by the batch, I'm just pulling numbers here. So the way wholesale usually works is it's cost plus labor. So for all of the cost of materials that go into this and the amount of time it takes to put everything together, to package it, whatnot, so you get the cost plus labor. So say if that is, I don't know, $8 for this or something like that. Well, I can't really sell it at $8 because now whatever platform is going to come in and take all their different fees off of that. So now I'm barely making cost on this. So that's why we have, we do markups on things. And what I've found through extensive trial and error and research on a lot of the different platforms, like say I may move in this direction for Etsy, and I don't have everything on eBay yet, but is like, so for Amazon customers want free shipping, period. If you sold something for $15 plus $15.99 plus $4 shipping, they don't want that. You sell it for $19.99, no questions. So that's what I had to do. I had to do a repricing structure to figure in the free shipping, because let's get away from the illusion. There's no such thing as free shipping. It's baked into the cost of the products. It's not unethical. It's what everyone does. I didn't realize that at first until like I was told by other business owners, like, hey, you gotta, because at that point, now if I had this $8 thing on Amazon, offered free shipping and didn't figure that into the price, I've now made nothing. I've basically, Amazon's taken their cut. I've paid for shipping. and maybe made pennies on something worth far greater than that. So that is why, and I think, as far as things go, my pricing is pretty decent on, um for what I charge for my products, for how much I put into it. And I've talked about this, I think, in the our creation process video. You're paying for all of the training and education and whatnot, and skill and development through, and the working relationships with the spirit world. You're not just paying for something that was put together in a factory somewhere in China, that has, sure, it's got the correspondences for whatever, but is magically inert, basically. So that's just one of the things I kind of wanted to point out. I may move to that structure on Etsy. I have, in July, I turned off the free shipping on orders over 35, because I mean Etsy just takes more and more fees, and it's just not economical for me to do this. I mean, talk to me when, after you are spending well over $30,000 a year on shipping costs. We'll have a conversation if you want to get into about shipping. But when you're spending literally $30,000 or more on shipping, I could use that money for a lot of stuff. I mean, yes, but I'm saying when it comes to the free shipping part of it, I did put a little bit of a buffer in there, but it's until Etsy takes its fees, and they keep raising their fees, and then you have, you know, shipping transaction fees. And side note here, Etsy way overcharges you guys for shipping. Like, seriously, way overcharges you. I mean, I know they take a fee cut from the shipping, but like, if you go to my website, you're going to pay a lot less for shipping. So, and I have free shipping on orders over $100 on my website. And eBay is weird with shipping. Like, I've unless you put everything in your cart at once and check out that way, but if you buy individual items, like I've had to refund people. I'm like, you just paid like $60 in shipping because you're going in and clicking buy now on all these things and paying shipping on each one. It's not pulling it wasn't aggregating it. And there was also some other shipping error, but I don't have as much volume on eBay because I just don't have everything listed yet. I mostly was using eBay when I was having issues with selling flying ointments and stuff on my website. So that be that. But when you're looking at this, and as I've encouraged people, and I've been trying to do this myself, especially when it comes to like small businessy things, unless someone's using like fulfillment by Amazon, because that would be like me sending Amazon 100 of these, and then Amazon ships them out and takes care of it that way. I mean, if someone's chosen to do that, that's their own thing. But I just always encourage people to buy directly from their websites, because they're not losing all, they're not losing all the fees. Like, I guess I have fees. I have I have to pay Shopify. I have my high risk credit card processing fees. I do have stuff that comes out there. It is still nowhere near the amount of fees I pay to Etsy alone. Like, maybe on like my highest grossing month so far, I paid maybe $150, $200 in fees throughout all that on my website, where I normally pay about $1,000 in fees for Etsy. So, now, one of the things that, and I don't mean to besmirch people who shop these places, because hey, I've shopped them too, and sometimes that's the only choice I have and whatnot. But a lot of these platforms have created the epic Karen of customers. Like, I know most of the time on 9 chances out of 10, if a customer is contacting me on Amazon, they're immediately belligerent and rude, or they're just shouting words at me. I'm like, okay, can you? And then I've got to sit there and spend time to try to figure out, like, okay, since you have no ability to use a complete sentence here and you're just shouting refund at me, and I'm looking, I'm like, did you not get your order? What is the thing? What's the issue? Or just, I don't know. Do people just not know how to ask questions? Like, I'm starting to wonder that sometimes. Like, I get things and I'm like, I what are you what? Like, I don't feel like I need, and it's not, I mean, I get it sometimes that there's language barriers and whatnot, but it's like, what is the question here? You're just shouting words at me, and I'm sitting there going, do I have this? Is this product like this? Is it, what do you want? What are you asking me? I shouldn't have to spend time to try to pull out of you what your question is if you're contacting me. So, that's just one of those things. And I don't know if it just something that hits my neurospicy, whatnot, but I've just found that a lot of times in the platforms, Amazon especially, is that like people just shout words at me and I'm just supposed to figure out what the hell that, fill in the blanks and whatnot. But um so the problem with a lot of these platforms is they've created a lot of bad behaviors in customers. And because of that is why there are a lot of policies that I have in place. Like, I do not take, I don't do refunds or returns. I'll do unless, something is lost or broken, that sort of thing. Um because I've had too many people take advantage of that in the past. I've had people order an oil, then return it, for question mark reason, and I look at it and go, okay, so you bought this oil and you used it in a ritual and you returned it so you can get your money back. You used it once and you returned it so you can get your money back. Now I can't resell this. So you've got some cheap ass people that do things like that. Or they bought the oil and then they want to return it a day later because it didn't work. I'm like, well, sweetie, maybe magic isn't right for you if you're expecting instantaneous results. You got this on the 17th and you're trying to return it on the 18th for not working, or leaving a 1-star review that this doesn't work, whatever. So it's created a lot of situations like that where I had to just make a blanket policy where I don't accept returns. Because people pull shit. Like, people will be like, I bought this is too tiny. No, a baby couldn't even use this much bath salt. I'm like, well, if you want to, okay, so size matters. I'll get to that later though. But you see what I say is a lot of times is people get things and then make up excuses so they can get their money back. So they got a little bit out, maybe I only needed a pinch of this. And I'm like, well, I paid $20 for this, so now I want my money back. So people do things like that. Or they'll claim they didn't work, or whatnot, in a ridiculous amount of time. Like, if this arrived at your house on the 18th and you're requesting a refund on the 19th, I don't think you gave it time to work, or you don't understand how magic works. And also, because of the nature of witchcraft products and things like that, there are no guarantees. You could be a terrible magician, not my problem. But people will try to do that. I've had people try to return things like, I had someone, trying to return a bath salt because they no longer needed it after they bought it like 3 months ago or something. I'm like, okay, I guess, did you need an extra $20 today or something? But so people do take advantage of those systems. And the problem is, when you are on a platform like Etsy or Amazon, a lot of times they just, no questions asked, refund the person. A lot of times they refund it out of their money. Sometimes depending on the situation. I've had to deal with chargebacks. I'll be like, well, at least like when someone does a chargeback thing for whatever reason, I'm like, well, they never contacted me, so I have no idea what the issue is. Did it never show up? Was it broken? Did they just decide that they didn't like it? What the question is. So I provide them with that information, and then the credit card and Amazon figure it out. And usually it doesn't come out of my funds. So now Etsy, on the other hand, with their purchase protection program, there's times where it's like someone's filed a claim and I haven't even had like time to respond to it before Etsy's refunded them. Now, sometimes that's out of their own money. out of Etsy's own money, but it creates this cycle of I could just complain and get my money back and get what I want. And it hurts small businesses and owners and stuff like that. So a lot of times we have to be very hard-lined in our policies because people will take advantage of that because they can just complain to Amazon and Amazon will refund them. So, that just creates a lot of bad behavior. You know what the thing is? I never have those problems on my with customers that use my website. I've maybe had one issue, and that was like a year ago, and I don't know, the person I don't know if their order never arrived. I tried to problem solve it. The only thing they could seem to figure out how to do was leave one-star reviews on a bunch of products claiming their order never arrived. I tried contacting them. There's plenty of ways to get in contact with me via social media, email, contact forms on the website, whatnot. I reached out to them twice through the email that was provided with their order. They never responded. I'm like, well, I tried. I'm not going to sit here for a year chasing you down to figure out what the issue is. And chances are I will forget after a few days because I've just got a high volume business and I'm one person. So, yeah, so a lot of times with, like as I mentioned earlier in the video, is that, you do pay more when you're buying things through, it might be the convenience or the safety net. Like at this point, I kind of use Etsy like a glorified like search engine. And like I'll look something up, like if I'm trying to find a particular crystal, because not all places sell all crystals and not all places sell yeah, and I have to kind of try to find, or if the place normally I order something of is out of stock, I need to find someplace else. Or, I don't want to order it from China, or I don't want, I want to, I need it faster. So sometimes I just use it to find a business and then see if they have a website. So I used to order a lot on Etsy and I do not anymore. Unless you only have an Etsy shop, chances are I will not. And even then I'm getting a little more like, I just don't want to feed the Etsy monster. Amazon I'm a little bit stuck with right now. But that's more for like business supplies. Or just the speed in which I need things at times. So, yeah, I don't really have a lot of problems with eBay. Yeah, but again, it's not one I use a whole lot. So, yeah. So I wish people would understand, like especially like if you're using something like Etsy, maybe not be like accosting customers or accosting sellers and stuff like that in an immediate belligerent and like abusive manner. It's like, yeah, I'm one person. Hi. I didn't, lose your package on purpose. Or whatever. Or sometimes I'm gonna get into this one on the next topic. Size matters. So sometimes it's hard to convey weight-based size, volume size, and stuff like that through images and whatnot on the internet. It's like I sell my bath salts. They're 5 ounces, so I mean the package fits in my hand. It's 5 ounces in weight. Sometimes it varies because the thing is I think of it more as like a concentrate. Like if you want to add more Epsom salt to this, I just don't feel like sure, I can make this 10 ounces or something and add a whole bunch more salt to it. You're just going to get more salt, and then a higher shipping cost and more stuff. So you can always add more salt if you feel like you need that. You're getting the concentrate of all of the herbs, all of the essential oils, and the salt base that's in it. Like it is potent. Like me for these, occasionally, if I need to like turbo blast something out of my system, I usually use like a tablespoon of this in my bathtub because otherwise, it's a lot. And I use, depending on the ingredients that are in some of these things, like, yeah, they can get expensive. You throw some Blue Lotus in there, when you're talking about things that are, 12, $25 an ounce, you get, prices are adjusted for that. So, if you want to know the specific measurements of or what this looks like, let's see. We've got top to bottom. The package is 6 inches. It's about 4 inches across, and the width, depending on how it was packaged, is about 2 inches. So, but I always state on, or at least try to. Some platforms don't make it easy to, so I have to put it in the text of what the weight is. But generally speaking, like the bath salts are going to be 5 ounces because that's usually about what fits in the bag, more or less. Now, sometimes certain things weigh more than others. Like if I go and throw some orange rinds and lemon rinds in this, that's going to add weight, but not necessarily volume. If I add something really fluffy like helichrysum or pink rose petals, it's going to add more volume, but won't have the same amount of weight. So that's one of the things to kind of consider with that. And weight can look very different. Like this, my incense blends are 1 ounce. This, and again, depending on if it has a lot of resins in it, it's not going to look like as much. So, you have, this is the ounce of road opener incense. It's similar, kind of construction to size-wise to the Florida water bath salts, but this is also 1 ounce, and this is one of the fast luck powder. So it's in a different package. I do use different packaging for things just so I have a visual kind of, like, I know when I pick this up, this is a powder blend, not an incense blend. And I do my powder blends very different. You get, again, it's a concentrate. This is all pure herbs. I don't cut it with cornstarch. It's not that cheap shit you get in metaphysical stores and botanicas. That's cornstarch, maybe some herbs in there somewhere, and some colorants and fragrance, and sell it for $5. If you want to add cornstarch to an extended, by all means, you can. I just don't feel like I should be charging you for the volume that would take up, because you would be getting less potent, less intense. Like, it's just cutting it. That's, it's like cutting your cocaine with a little bit of, baby powder or baking soda or whatever. It's like, sure, you look like you might have more cocaine, but do you really? Anyways. And on to something about colorants, because I had a comment about, well, actually, I want to talk about size first, but we'll get to colorants in a minute and a funny joke. But you also have volumetric sizing. So these are 1 ounce bottles. I don't necessarily know how much the oil and all the stuff in it weighs, because again, there's different, I don't have the herbs and crystals. It's going to weigh, the weight of the oil and everything is going to be different, but volumetrically, it's a 1 ounce bottle. So, sizing is different in that sense. Like, I know it from when I go either to gem shows or I buy crystals. I can buy things in kilograms. I can buy things in grams. I can buy things in carats, ounces, pounds, by individual item, by flats, by units of measurement I've never even heard of, or carats or something like that. So I get it. Like, and there's times when I've ordered things and thought, oh, I thought this would be bigger. I thought it would be more. I thought it, whatever, but that's on me. I either didn't read the description, or I personally love 1-star reviews where it's like, well, I didn't read the description. I'm like, well, then why are you? That's on you. No, that sounds like a you problem, not a me problem. But anyways, as we know, I'm being a saucy Gemini in Mercury retrograde tonight. So I want to talk a little bit about colorants, because I had someone leave a whole bunch of 1-star reviews based on the colorants I use on things. So I'm going to show you an example, and I forgot to grab, I think I took it upstairs. So I do use colorants in some things, and usually I use micas or mica-based liquid colorants that are specifically for like bath and body products. So typically, the things I use colorants in, although occasionally in some of my oils, if you've noticed some of the oils that have like red hue to it, that's alkanet root powder, which is like a natural red colorant. So there's a reason. I use it a lot in body washes and especially bubble baths. There's a reason, especially why I use it in bubble bath. So this is what the bubble bath looks like before you blend everything together. Let's blend it together. Now, what does that look like? It looks like a big jar of jizz. So I've spent a lot of time on my branding and the look of my things. And I am art school educated, so color is important to me, as also it is, there are a lot of color correspondence and magic. And Corey is coming to bring us a. You didn't bring us anything? You made all that noise and didn't bring a catnip banana or a mousy toy? For shame, cat, for shame. So there are color correspondences with magic. We use particular color candles for a reason. So sometimes I use colorants, and I'm shaking my big jizz jar here to show you. This doesn't look so great actually as compared to a pretty little orange bubble bath. So I do my branding based upon, the fact that I've studied art in school and design and whatnot and kind of know what I'm doing and have an aesthetic to my stuff. I'm not selling all natural bare bones things. So if I was selling all natural bare bones things, the jar of jizz might work pretty well for that. But generally speaking, not the most appetizing looking thing in the world. Aesthetically pleasing anyways. So that's why I put colorants in things. Now, some things will naturally, some herbs will naturally leach. I know in the spellfires, some of them, certain herbs it'll pull some of the natural color from the herbs. So they might get like a greenish tinge, or hibiscus will sometimes turn things pink or red. And, sometimes depending on what's in like a bath salt, there's like a couple I use colorants in. Like I'm thinking off the top of my head, I think the road opener one, I use a colorant in protection. The prosperity one, I mean, there's maybe one or two that have some kind of color, or just have things in it that may have naturally made it look pink. So that's part of why it's my aesthetic, it's my branding, whatnot. If you want bare bones, basic ass stuff, that's probably not for you. But that's again how I run my business is up to me. Do you want me coming into what you do and tell you that? And I may not have a clue how to. I can't tell you how to be an accountant and to tell you to do use this better, or this program's better, or this thing's better than that, and whatnot. I assume you know what you're doing. Although I've learned my lesson a few times that some people do not know what the fuck they're doing. But I don't generally. I sometimes I get a little grated when people kind of like offer unsolicited advice on like how to run my business. I'm like, I am very well educated. There's plenty of videos showing that, and if you want my credentials, they're on my website under, I think, About Us or Our Story, something like that. I'm very highly educated in what I do on a technical level, on a spiritual level, and on an artistic level, because I have a bachelor's of fine arts and art history and studio arts, and have taken classes in pretty much just about every single major except for interior design. Although I could rock my advanced altar design theory class out the window because I make awesome altars. I can't wait to do that in my new place, because right now, not having I just have sort of like a little tiny tray on a table that has like some stuff that I haven't packed up yet. So not having my altars accessible is a little right now. So I've been ranting for half an hour on this, but I occasionally like to do business talks and stuff. So what it's like on the other side of what I do here. You know, it's the thing is I love what I do. Even through the bullshit, even through the shitty customers, even through shitty platforms and all that, I love what I do. And the best part of being your own boss and running your own business, you can tell people to go fuck off. And the worst thing that would happen is, you've told them to fuck off. I mean, generally speaking, I don't call, I'm, if you approach me in a caustic manner, I'm probably going to fire back in an equally like, yeah, go eat a bag of dicks. But as long as people, if you have questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. I can't do everything. Like I'm not a great, I'm not a great teacher. I'm do have some videos on like spells and stuff on the channel. I'm gonna try to get more once I'm settled. I've just kind of not been able to do as much content, especially since like June, because I've just been in the chaos of selling my house, packing everything, moving, trying to find a new place, moving, and all the stuff. And right now, for the month of September, I'm going to be kind of between two locations. And basically, in order for me to move, I have to do three separate moves because I have to do a putting shit in storage move. I have to move the business, and then I have to move the rest of my crap. So, and then probably do a secondary crap. I don't have room for all this crap, storage, things. So, it's I've got a lot of moving parts right now. So I'm looking very forward to, fast forwarding a month or so. And when I'm all settled in my new place and I don't have to deal with fucking reggae man on the corner and whatnot. So yeah. Um, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to cover under this. Look at my notes. But yeah, I love what I do. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. And there's things I sometimes change. Like I used to offer ritual services and I just realized I don't like doing rituals for other people. I mean, I know there's a lot of people that offer rituals for hire. I just don't like to, I don't enjoy it. Like, why? It would be dishonest of me to just do something for the sake of doing it and half-ass my way through it. And if anything I can tell you is I am always honest to a fault because insincerity makes my skin crawl. Literally, I mean, you can usually tell if I'm being like insincere, like, oh yeah, sure, that's great. Uh-huh. Yeah. That sounds like a banger of an idea. Yeah. Oh, honey. Yeah. No, being insincere to me is like running a cheese grater across my skin. I have some pain kinks, but that's not one of them. So I am always honest about things, sometimes to a fault, and I do occasionally have the neurodivergent bluntness, but I am very direct about things. And I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Love me, hate me, but I'm always going to tell you what I know to be the truth, what my experiences are, what's going on, and I ain't got time to deceive you. I'm human and I make mistakes, but I'm not going to tell you this is a pound of ritual powder when it's an ounce. I ain't got time for that. So, anyways, that is. I just needed to take a break, and because I'm either packing or trying to get all my orders out or trying to restock things. And yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Anyways, thank you for watching. I love you all. You know who you are. And don't forget to click like and subscribe. We're getting close to our milestone of 3,000 subscribers. So if you haven't clicked subscribe yet, please subscribe. Looking forward to hitting that milestone, and maybe there'll be a special discount code for that. Especially with the upcoming holidays. And have a good one.